We are live.
All right,
Well,
welcome, finalists and jury and the viewers to our final tribal council of Motu Nui. Before we get officially started, some of you may notice that we're missing our finalists. This final tribals are going to be a little bit different. Ashley had a real big emergency and can't be here. So the jury is still going to address Jack and Keegan, and they'll also ask questions to Ashley, who will respond to them via video later on. So, with that, Kevin.
okay. You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So, hi. I don't really have a speech to say, so I'll just skip to the questions. The first one was kind of for one of Keegan and Ashley, but since Keegan's here, I'll just ask him. So, Keegan, Jay and I kind of aligned with you when we voted out Steven, and I was kind of, I guess, kind of hesitant, but I thought there was trust built after that vote. And then, well, that trust didn't really last because I was voted out next time. And was kind of confused because I didn't expect it from you guys. And I'm still kind of in the dark about it. So I just want to know why I was voted out.
Okay, so you getting voted out was actually Ashley and JD's idea, I guess. I was at work that whole day, so I wasn't around for it, and I got on Skype 5 minutes before the vote was due. Ashley had messaged me a bunch saying, we need to vote out Kevin. He's talking with Drew and giving Drew information. We have to get him out, so I just went along with it. I knew I had Ashley. I knew that would build trust with JD and LA, and for me, that felt like the better option than sticking with you and Jay. And it just, to me, felt like in the 5 minutes I had to decide, felt like what would get me farther in the game for myself.
Okay, thank you. And then the next part is for all three of you. So I kind of, never mind. I think that it's important to have bonds for all the jurors, and I'm not going to vote for you if I don't feel like there's a connection between me and whoever. So I want each of you to just tell me what you like about me. Basically, yeah, this is kind of self-centered, but I don't care. So Jack can go first.
All right, I'll go first. Yeah, you hosted the Athena season that I first played, and I thought it was, I don't know, I thought it was a good season. I thought you did a really good job hosting. That's really the bulk of how I know you. I mean, we didn't really talk that much in this game other than the Steven vote where you kind of lied to me. But other than that, I mean, I don't really know you, but you're my favorite host from that season. And probably you're my favorite Athena host. Don't tell the others.
Okay, Keegan.
So I didn't know you at all before this season, so I don't have that insight. We really didn't talk all that much. We did at the beginning when we were in that alliance with Kai and Sydney. I think LA was in there with us. We didn't really talk all that much, but I did enjoy talking with you when we did. You're really nice. You're really cool. And, I mean, unfortunately, the votes didn't fall that way. Yeah.
Okay. So that's all. All right. Amanda, can I leave now?
Do you also want Ashley to answer that later?
Hmm?
You want Ashley to answer that question,
yes,
what she
the
likes
second
about
question,
you later?
Yeah.
So, I know watching Ashley. Okay.
All right.
Kevin,
bye.
you're good. You can leave if you want to. Thank you for coming.
Good luck, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Kevin.
Next is LA, but she cannot be here, so she's sent her jury speech, and I have to read it to you. So please, be nice. I'm gonna do address one of you and let you answer, and then the other. Okay, so first, from LA is for Jack. And it says, Jack, I was honestly so disappointed in your game at first. In Taviuni, you went so hard in challenges, and I thought you were to do the same here, but maybe that was a choice to seem less like a threat. Or you were just a flop for the first half, but you pulled through. You played a loyal game, whether it was intentional or not. And when it came down to our last vote together, you were honest, and we got a chance to talk, and I appreciate that. My question to you is, now that you're at FTC, do you actually feel like the goat you were labeled as in touchy subjects?
Well, I definitely was the GOAT at that point of the game. I hadn't really done anything. I wasn't really talking to people. I mean, I hadn't won a challenge. But I think closer to the end of the game, I actually started like making more moves, or at least trying to make more moves. And I won the last 2 challenges, so I wasn't completely floating. And people wanted me out in the final 4 because they thought I was a jury threat. So, yeah, I don't think I was a GOAT the entire time, but I definitely started out as the GOAT that people thought I was.
Okay, thank you. And her next question is for both Keegan and Ashley. So Keegan will answer now and Ashley will answer later. So here it is. My question is the same for Keegan and Ashley. From my point of view, you both played the same game. A move or plan couldn't be worked out without you two talking to one another first. So why should one of you win over the other? Last minute move that didn't work, but overall, similar games were played. So Keegan, you can go ahead and respond to that.
So I'd like to say that I would deserve the vote more than Ashley, because I kind of started the whole thing with Ashley by flipping on Colin to start with. That's the move that really built the trust to get Ashley to say, let's go to final 2 together. And then from there on out, we did work on every vote together until that very last vote where Ashley voted for me, which unfortunately didn't work for Jay. But I mean, it's hard to say, because from that point on the game till the end, we did work together the whole time. We discussed every vote together. We did everything together. Although some of the votes I'd say were more my idea than hers, like the split between JD, LA, and Jack. That was the vote I brought up to her, saying this is what we should do. This is the way to get one of them out and get JD's idol gone. And I just say that I'm the one that sort of got Ashley into that final 2 with me.
All right, thank you. Next is Jay. So go ahead, Jay, all yours.
Hey kids. So first of all, I'm dubious of Keegan's answer to the last question, but we'll leave it at that. We'll discuss it in Ponderosa. So I pre-wrote my entire speech, so I'm sorry that I'm just going to be reading it. I get really nervous during these things, so I prefer to not just wing it. Well, finalists, here I am. Obviously, I'll open with a little bit of a speech and then transition into questions. This is going to be a long one, I'm sorry. I think that each of you represents an element of the 3 styles of gameplay, which I've always called 1, friendly/social, 2, strategic/cutthroat, and 3, physical/challenge focused. I think that each of these styles has their own merits and their own detriments, but ultimately each style is worthy of a win if executed properly. Tumblr Survivor, and the whole community in general, tends to value the strategic cutthroat style the most, but I'm asking the jury to see the nuances of each of your games, provided that you can defend and rebut your flaws in them. Tragically, for all of you, I will only give you my jury vote if you can complete my task while answering my question. So I'm going to add, there's going to be like a little humorous, overtone to this. I'll ask Ashley's last because she'll need to find it easier. I'm not going to be as savage as I was planning. I was going to ask you guys to smash eggs over your head, and I'm not going to. They're just going to be silly. Keegan, for me, you represented the strategic cutthroat player, which is interesting since you may be the first under the radar player I've seen as strategic. The flaw in your game was clear, the social element. You almost never initiated conversations with me or others, generally waiting for us to contact you first about pretty much anything. The only time we actually had a conversation was after final immunity, when we remained on call together, as we were both planning to vote each other out, which tragically did not work out for me. Unfortunately, your social game wasn't even strong enough to keep your main ally from the entire game loyal to you. So as you answer my question, I would like for you to balance a phone between your face and your shoulder to represent how you never called on anyone during the game. If you have a cell phone, that's fine. A home phone is fine. My question for you is, do you believe that a player has played a good game just because they make it to the end, or do you think a good game is more than that?
Can you see the phone balancing?
Yeah, I can. Good luck.
Okay, so I don't think a player making it to the end makes them a good player. I think it takes a lot more than just getting to the end to be a good player. For example, a goat that gets to the end isn't necessarily a good player. I definitely agree with you. I had a horrible social game. I hate messaging people first, and that's something I really do need to work on. It's something I've never been good at. It's not my favorite part of these games even. I like the strategy part. I like the making moves and doing stuff like that. Okay, it went black. But yeah, I don't think you can get to the end. I do think you can get to the end by being a bad player, by being dragged to the end, or just somehow lucking your way to it without getting the target on you, by being a goat, by not doing anything, by being seen as just not a jury threat in any way at all.
Okay, that's interesting. I won't ask a follow-up, although I have one. I'll refrain. Jack, for me, you obviously represent the physical or challenge-focused aspect of the game. Unlike the other two, however, you had very little social or strategic game to be found. It's safe to say that your flaw was communication. So in order to rectify this lack of effective communication on your part, I'm going to ask that you answer my question to you while utilizing as many rhymes as physically possible, ending with a couplet. If you can answer effectively with all of these barriers, you'll have proven to me that you have the capability to be a strong social player. And secondly, since you're the resident challenge beast, this was Drew's idea, I assume that you can handle 2 challenges. So when Drew gives his speech, I'd really like for you to draw a picture of Drew and wear it as a mask, just as you hid behind him in the game. So my question for you is this: without mentioning the fact that you made it to the end, how did you make the most of your second chance? Did you play a better game than you did your first time? Rhyme away.
Yeah, I can't rhyme. I'm sorry. I'm going to take this loss. If that loses me your jury vote, I'll have to take that, but I'll do the Drew part. Anyway.
Great.
I've already forgotten your question because I was thinking about the rhymes. Did I play better than my first season? That was the question, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I did play better than my first season. I mean, the beginning of this season and my last season were pretty much very similar. I had one person who really communicated with me, and I didn't need to put as much work in to communicate with them. So I stuck with them. In my first season, that got me idled out. This season, because I wasn't perceived as a threat, I guess, in the beginning of the game, ultimately Drew went out instead of me. And from there, I was able to continue playing my game. And even though everyone thought I wasn't a threat, they still were considering voting me out. So that's when I started having to win challenges, and I did win those challenges. And I started becoming more involved with the votes. Even if I didn't always vote in the majority, I still actually was putting thought into the votes, as opposed to the beginning of the game where I was just kind of sheeping Drew, and the entirety of my Tabayuni game where I was sheeping Jordan Pines. Shouldn't speak his name. But yeah, I think that if I had gone out early merge, then I would have pretty much wasted my second chance and played the same as I did my first season. But because I was able to survive the early merge, like first couple votes, I was able to kind of make my game my own.
Okay, I do a follow-up. My biggest question for you, well, first of all, I'm glad that you went with the meat shield defense. I did tell you to use the meat shield defense, and it's a good one. My follow-up question is, why did you keep trusting me after I betrayed you the first time? I know that you didn't trust me when it mattered at the F4 vote, and you didn't vote with me when it mattered. But why did you trust me the previous votes at the detriment to your own game when you had absolutely no reason to trust me, as I had already betrayed you?
Well, I think at that point in the game, I didn't really have a reason to trust anyone. Like, Keegan and Ashley, I had never really talked to all game, other than the final 6 vote, in which case I was already hearing it from you as well, not just them. So, like, I kind of didn't really have a reason to trust anyone at all. So I figured I'd stick with you, hoping that maybe you'd feel bad about yourself for lying to me the first couple of times.
Someone has not seen me play before.
Hey, I'm new here. I don't know what you do. But, I mean, I did realize when it counted. I mean, if I had voted for Ashley like you told me at Final Four, you would have been in the finale instead of Keegan.
Yeah, it would have been
But
really
I
iconic.
didn't.
I was really excited about that plan.
I figured it out eventually.
Good. Well, that's good. If you made any move this game, the move to not trust me at Final Four is the move that will get you my jury vote if you do get it. Finally, I'll address Ashley. I will say that I don't know what's going on with Ashley, and if she's having a huge personal crisis, she is excused from the task that I give her. I would just like her to answer the question. Just prefacing. Ashley, for me, you represented the friendly social player. I always felt comfortable PMing you about things I didn't necessarily trust with Jack and Keegan. I thought of you as closer to a friend than just an ally, which really mattered to me after Kevin left. Kevin. The flaw that I saw in your game was being overly social, to the point where people were really hurt by your flip-flopping, including notably Keegan, which is hilarious for a lot of reasons that I am sure the coming jurors will get to. So Ashley, please refute the statements flippers never win, since you're obviously a flipper who wants to win, ideally while balancing a flip-flop on your head. Good luck to all of you.
All right, thank you. Next is Drew, but he's not here. So he's submitted a video for you guys. So Abby's gonna take control of that, and I think like he's paused in between the questions, so we'll make sure to pause and let whoever he's addressing answer before we move on. So
yes, just give me one.
Go ahead, Abby. Abby's the best, literally.
I just want everyone to know that I'm staying on for this entire FTC, and if I'm the only juror here at the end, it's cool with me.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Application window. Boom. Can y'all see him? Okay. I will play it and then pause it.
Alright, so first off I want to say congratulations to my three friends, because separate from the game itself, I am actually happy the three of you did well. For the hosts, I'm going to go ahead and pause a good 2-3 seconds between every question so that you can pause me. So logistics, if you don't end up needing to do that, just go ahead and insert the Big Bang Theory laugh track in those pauses. It'll be kind of awesome. So, Keegan, I went back through the entirety of our PMs for this game, looking for one tiny moment where you initiated a conversation. A hello, oh, I'm so happy we merged, and anything, and it didn't really exist. So this is, I guess, just going to be another I call you respond moment for us. In your opening statement, you had, in one paragraph, a list of all of the ways in which you have betrayed others. And you were exceedingly proud of those moments, as well you should be. They're decent strategic moments. And then in the next paragraph, you went in on Ashley for betraying you at the Final Four, in a move that realistically would have given her a better chance in this finale. So I really just want to know how you process being both the cold strategist and the victim, because I don't see those two roles working for any singular person. So please expand on that.
Okay, so for me, with the exception of Drew himself, I didn't really have a Final Two deal with anyone other than Ashley. I had a Final Two with Kai, but he quit, which sucked. I don't feel bad about flipping on anyone because I didn't have a solid end plan with them. With Ashley, it was since like the final, 10 or something, where we sat down together, said, we're going to Final Two together. We're going to go to Final Two together. Even at the Final Four vote, she said, I guess we have to vote Jay. This sucks. I don't want to, but we're going to vote Jay. So for her to just immediately vote me instead, it did hurt. And it does let me understand how other people felt with that. Like, they may have felt like, yeah, we were in an alliance together. I flipped on you. It hurt. I don't want to say that I am a victim because I know Ashley was just doing what was best for her game, but I do feel betrayed by her. probably in a way that other people felt betrayed by me. But for me, Ashley was the only person I had the solid end game plan with. Everyone else was just kind of, oh, we'll work together for now, or let's work together now. But it was never, hey, we're going to the end, we're sticking together, we're being the final two, we're going to stay the final two.
Okay, I will play the rest of the video if you're done.
Jack, you know my ass loves a good immunity run. It's kind of my bread and butter, so I'm not gonna bash you for that or ask stupid questions like if you would have made it to the end if you didn't have those. I don't care about that. Everything else in your speech, though, boiled down to ultimately the other person was targeted over me, the other person being Steven, and then Kevin, and then me, and then JD. And I'm just give me one example of something that you did to the game and not something the game did to you.
Huh. That's a weird question. My small brain is struggling to comprehend it. But let's see, something I did to the game. I mean, in the Final Four, like, if I had just followed people like blindly, like I had been most of the game, then, like I said before, Jay would be in the finale and Keegan wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know if I really have a very good answer because I don't think I was, like, the intention for me at all in the game was to do anything to the game. My intention was to make it to the end, to have other people be targeted over me, and I think I did that the entire game. So, yeah.
Okay, are you good? You done? Okay.
Abby, if you want to play Ashley's bit from Drew, so she can see it later. It's muted. Abby, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but it's muted. We can't hear Drew talking to Ashley.
Sorry.
Back him up a bit. It's okay. Abby's still the best host, guys.
Yikes. So can you still see him? Okay.
And Ashley, congratulations on outlasting me, I guess. It's been a long time since November. It's probably a little too long to hold that kind of torch, but congratulations. Your speech was about 3 sentences, which is awesome. And we didn't really have a single moment of truth from you for me the entire game. So you're going to get the hard question that I kind of just personally need answered. This is going on a lot longer. I'm sorry, Amanda. Why am I scary? I've heard that from a good 4 or 5 people this game. And I guess to frame it easier for you, tell me why I had to go home without using the words Alex or Rainbow. Because no one wanted to talk to me this game, and I'm just genuinely curious what the fuck happened there. I'm an approachable guy. I'm not that scary. It's not that serious. So yeah, explain to me my role in this game and why I could not find an ally to save my damn life. Other than you, Jack, you wonderful human being. Good luck tonight, you guys.
Oops.
Oh, I guess we're watching Maddie in London. Anyway.
When I tried to click off and it clicked on the picture.
No, it's okay. So that was Drew's stuff. Obviously Ashley will answer later. Next is Steven. So go ahead and take it away.
Alrighty. So, fun fact, Keegan, I think you'll like to hear this. I did find a conversation that you started with me, so good for you there. Also, talking about our conversations, there's a lot of talk about bridges. And I'm just wondering, was it your intention to continually build and burn bridges with people, and like while you're building bridges, you're like burning the same bridge at the same time. Like, was that an intention of yours? Because obviously Survivor as a social game, you need people to like you, and that's not really the best idea to get people to like you. So I don't know, just explain to me if that was your intentions or not with people, or, you know. I don't know if I was clear with that, but please answer.
I don't know if that was necessarily my intention to burn the bridge that I built as I was building it. I guess I sort of got talking with people, mostly Ashley, and we decided certain things that would be better. Although once merge hit, I had like 5 people come to me and say, Drew wants you out. You're going to get targeted by Drew. Drew wants you gone. He wants everyone who voted Alex to be just destroyed and gone out of the game forever. And that was essentially the reason why I wanted you out, because Drew won immunity. You were close to Drew, as far as I was aware. And as far as I knew, Drew was coming at me. So in kind of a revenge way, I wanted to get rid of that bridge before you could cross it over to get to me, I guess, to continue using the bridge metaphor.
Okay.
But I don't know that I necessarily wanted to burn the bridges as I was building them. Initially, I was going to work with Alex and Drew. At the fake merge, Drew and I came together. We're like, yeah, let's work together. We want to work together. We wanted to work together since he hosted me in whatever other season I was in.
Sentinel Islands?
Yes, that one. But then I did go against Alex, and Drew didn't like that. So I had to burn that bridge before it was even finished. Maybe not my intention, but it's just kind of the way things had to work out for me.
I do have to say, because our social game, like, we weren't really social with each other, so it didn't burn me as much when you did it as Ashley did. But we'll get to Ashley in a second after I ask Jack, crap. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Alex told me, it's a long story. I'm sorry. It's late. My question for you is that there's a lot of talk about how your game wasn't really an influential one in this season. Well, and that's nothing against you. Like, socially, you can get far. It's a game that I like to play a lot, just being the nice guy and hope that bigger threats will go before you, and it works many times for many people. If there is one time, because it does feel like there's a lot of times where things just happen to work out, where Drew won immunity and I was close to Drew, so I ended up leaving. Someone didn't win immunity. Someone did this. Da, 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 da. Is there one time where, crap, I had the question and it's gone. We'll get back to your question. I forgot it. I'm going to say Ashley's real quick. My question for Ashley is that, crap, I wish it was like Jay and I actually wrote these down. Crap. I'm the best juror. Sorry. My question for Ashley is, crap. Okay, Jack, is there one time at all, was there an alliance that you tried to like get into? Was there a relationship that you tried to make closer? Is there anything that you initiated that helped you get an edge on someone or try to make sure someone else left over you? Was there any time that you had to work harder than just having a conversation or winning an immunity?
I think this is the only time in my game where I'm actually going to go back to pre-merge was
That's fine.
Sydney vote. Because I think a lot in pre-merge I was pretty much like gone. And I'm going to be honest, I don't remember who was on that pre-merge tribe. But the fact that I had reached out to people at least a little bit, which was somehow more than Sydney had really managed to do, meant that when we lost that challenge, I wasn't going to be like a forgotten pre-merge boot. Is that several people went on my trust and they voted me out, like both Madison and Sydney, the only 2 votes I think I went to pre-merge, both voted for me. But the fact that I had reached out even just a little bit more than them, or people wanted to work with me more, whichever it was, meant that I could survive through pre-merge and make it to merge.
All right, that works. Ashley, my question for you is, what part of this game would you say was that you had the most control over and that you caused to take the route it took? I probably had a better question, but that's the one I'm asking right now. So if you may, please answer. Thank you. I'm done.
Trying to get off mute. But thank you, Steven. Next is Alex. So you're up.
All right, so I was the first juror. So it's been a while. My first thing that I'm just gonna start with the speech. I don't have anything prepared, so that's always gonna be fun. I guess my first thing is gonna be towards Keegan a little bit, because I'm surprised that you were shocked by Ashley's betrayal at the Final Four, because to be completely honest, she did it to everyone else. She betrayed me, which in turn betrayed Steven, and then betrayed Drew. And realistically, I think, a deal apparently with Ashley means nothing, because she's going to do whatever it takes to get to the end. And I'm surprised that you didn't catch on to that. And just for a thing with both you and Ashley, I do think voting me out was a very dumb decision. I don't particularly understand it. And I was, here goes me not planning anything. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense for you to vote out one of your original members, burn some bridges with that group, and then, specifically talking with you, and then turn on me afterwards. And I just, to be completely honest, I want to congratulate you two on ruining the game, because I felt like every person who came in, and I'm including myself in this, you know what, I am, because I love myself. Every person that came in after me, Steven, Kevin, Drew, LA, JD, probably missing somebody, were all more likable, more personable, better in challenges, and basically had a better strategic mind than either of you. And so to see it coming in every single time that somebody new came into the jury, I posted, this season is awful. And yes, I love Amanda's hosting, and I love Abby's hosting, and I love Duncan, and they did a fantastic job hosting the season. I'm not saying I hate the season. I'm saying I hate the outcome, because from the time I went home, I wanted 2 people to come here. And I can get it from a sense, because yes, voting me out, you said that I was a dangerous player, I guess, and I don't, that's going to be my question, but I'm continuing. I just found it really dumb to, because once you voted out me, you already lost 3 jury votes in total with Steven and Drew. Because, and Steven can correct me if I'm wrong, but Drew basically said that he was done with, anybody who voted me out. And realistically, you guys continued to really just do whatever it takes to win, and I respect that from a sense. But it's just very interesting to see that you guys seem to not care about the jury votes that you were developing, and who you were putting on the jury. Because, fun fact, I might be wrong in this, but I would have voted for anybody over you two. Even Jay or Kevin, who I never spoke to in this game, would have gotten my jury vote over somebody that I had a single conversation with. So my question to you, Keegan, is, let me just look at your jury speech. I had it highlighted. Where is it? Okay. But Alex scared me more than any other player in the game. I want you to explain that to me because the person who we were going to vote out, LA, realistically had more connections than I did. And realistically, I was working with you guys. They weren't working with you once you like betrayed them initially. So I just wanted you to explain that to me.
First off, I'm going to say I like the sign behind you that says I love almost all of you. I don't know if that was intentional, but I'm guessing it was. So for me, the reason why you scared me the most was, you were on going into merge. It would have been, had I stuck with you, it would have been what, like 7-4 or whatever, Kaihitu to Taranaki. You had the connection to all of them. You had the connection to Drew, which was the biggest part in that for me, was because I made a final 2 with Drew. I'm assuming you had a final 2 with Drew. If it came down to it, Drew would have picked you over me 100% of the time. Every single time, Drew would have picked you over me just because you had that longer connection with him. You had more times to bond with him. He told you about the Rainbow Idol, I'm assuming, very shortly after he found it.
Well, he found it.
Okay, well, he told me that when I messaged him saying, oh, the Rainbow Idol's gone. He's like, yeah, I trust you. I got it. But for me, you had the connections to more people in my mind. LA had JD, maybe Jay, maybe Kevin. To me, that's all she had. She wasn't on the tribe with anyone else. She wasn't working with you or Steven. She wasn't working with Drew. To me, getting rid of you would have, if Drew would have worked with me, which that didn't work out, it would have made me Drew's #1 ally, which didn't work out. But then I got the connection with Ashley. I still had the connection with Kevin and Jay going into merge. Very shortly after that, we made the wholesome happening with Kevin and Jay. Me, Ashley, Kevin, Jay. And then Ashley was in with JD and Law. So that gave me connections to the vast majority of the tribe. Whereas with you, I feel like at any time you could have cut me if you wanted and no one would have said a word. Sorry, I say Law all the time. It's LA, but that's just how I've pronounced it since I first ever saw her name. But yeah, to me, you had the more connections. You had the better connections. And that was basically it. You would get to the end over me 100% of the time if I worked with you. And that was the way I thought in my mind.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have a question for Ashley. Ashley lost my vote the second she voted for me, and I think she realized that. I do have a question for Jack. Because here's a fun thing. I think it shows like a testament to how much a lot of our tribe cared about you because we couldn't remember your name. We couldn't remember if your name was Jack or Jake, which became an inside joke with what I thought would have been the majority alliance on our tribe. And so I do want you to realize most likely you do have my vote tonight. However, that can change and it can go to Keegan because good job, Keegan, on that answer. And so my question for you, and it's not about your game because I like your game style and I just wish you had better social connections. I wish everyone here has better social connections, like holy hell. But I just want you to list as many things that you know about me. And that's really it. Like as many things, because as we were on a tribe, yes, I do get it. We were on a tribe for a very short time, but I was a very active member on the tribe, and I feel like you should know at least maybe 3 things about me that aren't basic. So I'd love to hear that.
Congrats, Keegan, on Alex's jury vote, because I'm just going to be honest, I really can't. You were one of the people I talked to absolutely the least, and I didn't talk to many people on that original tribe. So yeah, I'm not even going to try to BS or try to figure things out while guessing. I don't know you. I would like to know you. You seem cool. I'm playing this more for friends than to win the game. But if I win the game, that's cool too. But yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know you very well.
All right. Then a follow-up question. Keegan, can you do any better?
Probably not, and that's really sad considering we played 2 seasons together.
Just one thing.
Probably not, honestly.
All right, that's fine.
I don't know that I talked personal details with really anyone. Like,
all right.
I told people I worked at a doggy daycare. That's about as personal as I got.
All right, that's fine. I am done.
All right. Thank you, Alex. Last but not least is JD. So go ahead and take it away, JD.
Hi. I'm having some issues with the tablet falling over on me, so I apologize. I've added a couple of little notes. I don't like the particularly a lot of my things got kind of touched on. But I'm going to start with Ashley. And she doesn't have to go through the whole thing if she doesn't want to. So it's no surprise that you flipped quite often. All of your gameplays were flipping on an alliance member or a friend or something like. And everybody else, but okay, just you. What is it that made
JD? Hold on, JD. Hold on. You're very choppy. So if you could just talk slower, maybe it'll through. I don't know how else to fix that. Sorry.
Do we restart it or?
And we know you're talking to Ashley, so if you want to just start from the beginning of what you're saying and just go slower, that would be great.
Okay. I don't know how. I'm just going to cut right to the chase then. And I know Kevin touched on it, but without saying I made it to the end, how did flipping on every alliance you had benefit your game? Because you flipped on Alex, you flipped on Kevin, you flipped on me, you flipped on LA, you flipped on Keegan at the end too. That's the one I'll probably prop to on because nobody wants to go to the end with the person that's like the exact same game as they did. So I think that I only have the one question for Ashley. So Keegan, and cut me off if you can't hear me, because I have a couple for you. But basically, I want to know exactly what happened with Colin. I wasn't anywhere near that vote. I didn't even think I was on the trap at all with Colin. So who was he? Who was you? Was he an alliance member? What was your position in the game at the time? Like, I want to know every bit of information about that vote. Because apparently, that was your big move, aside from maybe kind of voted out me. So tell me about that vote. Or decision.
Okay, so Colin was someone who I think we said hi when the game began, and that was it. We never said a single word to each other after that from until the merge when his name came up and he's like, hey, let's not flip on each other. Let's stick together strong. And that's when Ashley and I started talking. And for me, flipping on him got Ashley to work with me, and it prevented us from going to Rocks, which I did not want to do. I wasn't willing to throw my game away for Colin, or I think LA had immunity. But I wasn't willing to throw my game away at Rocks for Colin, who I had never spoken to before. Flipping on him got Alex to trust me, got Steven to trust me, got Ashley to trust me, even if that trust was short-lived. But that's really the vote that me and Ashley after said, we're going to the finals together. Colin and I really, we said maybe 2 words to each other up until that point.
Okay, so you guys had no connection other than we won't vote for each other. Fair. Oh no. That sounds like kind of been asked, but the whole Ashley hurt my feelings thing. How can you justify not wanting to vote her out in the last round? Because you guys did play the exact game. Very similar. Not the exact game. You want to go in with her.
So my camera's black and I don't know why. For not wanting to vote at Ashley, it boiled down to she was the only person I trusted 100%. I thought she trusted me 100%. That did not turn out well. I also didn't want to vote her out because if I were to go to the end with Jay and Kevin, or Jack, sorry, I'm getting 0 votes at the end. Jay is getting votes over me. Jack is getting votes over me. Going to the end with Ashley for me is getting a chance to explain my part of us working together and how I contributed to that group. Whereas with Jay and Jack, I lose 100% of the time. Everyone's already said it. I suck socially. Everyone kind of hates me. With Ashley, I felt like I have a chance at least getting some of the votes over her instead of none of the votes.
Okay. So my last one is kind of more of a comment for you than anything because, like you were saying, you didn't have the greatest social game, and as far as getting more votes, I almost disagree. We didn't talk at all. Through Ashley. So my perception of it is she was controlling you for this game. She was telling you all the information. She was the one saying, this is how it's going, this is what's going on, this is what it is, are you down? Yes or no? The work and stuff like that. But just from all in all, it seemed like she was definitely the one guiding you to where she wanted you more than anything. And then you were saying you had a bunch of connections, and I found it funny in your opening statement you said it, and every connection you listed had wanted to vote you out after the merge, at least once, except LA. So I just thought that was a little bit. And I'm good. I can jump over to Jack. First off, I am so sorry for the fucking Jack Jake thing. I don't know if it was all my fault, but I mistyped your name a couple of times. And it was by accident. But anyways, I'm sorry for that. But my question is very self-satisfying more than anything. After
I cannot understand you at all.
Yeah.
Like I got it up until you started saying, "Here's my question," and then it killed itself.
Yeah. Basically, when they voted me, would you have worked with me after?
JD.
Yeah,
JD,
I can't.
Do you still have your questions written out? Because if you do, just send them to your host chat and I'll read them to Jack.
Sorry, I guess it's just not trying to function right now.
I love a cast that is flexible. This is the most flexible cast I've ever had, so I appreciate all of you. Give her just a minute.
All right, no problem.
While she's doing that, I will let you guys know Ashley has come on. She says she's fine. She's rewatching FTC right now, and she will be answering your questions as soon as she can. She's either going to send a video or write them. I let her choose just because of everything she's dealing with. But she said she is okay. Thank you for understanding. And that's an update on Ashley. Also, while we're waiting for JD. Oh, hold on. Okay, I have JD's question for Jack. She says, the super basic question is, after Drew got voted out, would you have worked with me or not? And either way, if you had, who would you have voted for?
Final six. I think the vote absolutely, like, had to be you or LA. Obviously, like, if you had reached out to me and maybe hadn't prefaced, like, our conversation before that tribal with enjoy going home, I might have considered a little bit more working with you over LA. But, like, I knew LA a little bit better because we were in the same original season, and you had an idol. So, like, yeah, in that situation, I think I just kind of had to vote for you. But, like, yeah, if things had been a little bit different, like, if you had reached out to me, 100%, I would have worked with you. Or if, like, LA had gotten voted out over you, I would have worked with you. But I guess, I don't know, it's just kind of how the situation went where you kind of had to go, in my eyes.
JD, do you have anything else you want to ask Jack? Okay. I know that Jay had a follow-up question for someone, so I will let her go ahead and do that now.
I did come up with a follow-up question for Keegan. I know I said I had them, but I wasn't going to ask them. But as the final travel has gone on, I've realized that I do want him to answer this. Why don't you see yourself as Ashley's GOAT? Like, it's just been kind of strange to me during FTC that it seems like everybody is kind of agreeing that we all sort of spoke to you through Ashley. I know that I felt like that. I felt like I was speaking to you and Ashley through LA and JD, and then speaking to you through Ashley. So I'm just wondering what makes you not her GOAT, even though you guys had an F2 deal.
I would say that's because I'm not the social player. Ashley was. She was the one that reached out to everyone. She was the one that did talk to everyone. So yeah, everyone essentially was talking to me through her, but I feel I was more the one with the strategies. Like you said, I was the more cutthroat strategy player. Ashley was one that propagated the information or got it and sent it back to me, but I feel like I was the one who did more of the strategy. I was the one who more figured out the votes, figured out what's the best way for us to vote. If you're looking at the game more socially, sure, I was 100% Ashley's GOAT. If you're voting based on her social ability, then 100% I'm her GOAT. She gets her vote. She gets your vote over me. If you value that game more than the strategy. Yeah, so social-wise, 100% her GOAT. I feel like I was the better strategical player than her, but I don't think I was 100% her GOAT.
Okay. I have a follow-up. Is there any way that you can prove that you were running the strategy?
I have the conversations I've had with Ashley.
I don't need to hear them. I would just, wanted to know.
Like, Ashley, I messaged more than probably everyone in the whole game combined. I had more conversations with Ashley than the entire cast combined. Most of that was based on the voting. Most of that was based on, what do we do? This is what we should do. I don't know another way to prove it. I don't have like videos recorded of us being he, let's do this, let's do that. But it's just.
Do you think she would disagree that you were the strategic mind in your lines?
I'm sure she would. I'm sure she'll say whatever she can to get the votes. But in my eyes, I view I was a more strategic player. Obviously, she'll do whatever she can to get the votes because she voted for me because you promised her your jury vote. I think she will do. Yeah, I'm sure she will do and say anything she can to get the votes, like any of us will do or say to get the votes. That's why we're at Final Tribal Council. That's why we're trying to get your votes, is we will say whatever we can to get them. So I'm sure she'll disagree and say she was the mastermind behind the whole season and deserves every single vote. But in my eyes, I view I was more strategical than her.
All right. Well, that answers my final question. Bless.
All right, and I know that Stephen had a question for Ashley. So if Ashley that question, and she'll answer it when she gets to it.
Yeah, so actually, I don't know how you're going to do it, if you're going to do like one and answer it or whatever, but hopefully you're not doing that. So just, wait, what did I just click? Crap. Okay. Just disregard the question I asked. My question is actually, why is turning on, no, crap. What happened during my vote? Why was I the next person to go out of everybody when I don't know from your point of view, but I was not doing great. So why was I the target over everyone else, and how did the vote go? Why did it go the way it did? And done.
All right. We'll get to closing statements from Keegan and Jack. I'll give you about a minute or so to think about what you want to say. This is your last chance to sway any jury votes. So think about it. You've got a minute, and then we'll go Jack first, then Keegan. If you're thinking of it, I just want to give a shout out to Ryan Teddy Palmer for all the wonderful things he's doing for our wiki. He's making intro videos for every season, and he's just literally been amazing for our wiki. So thank you to Ryan Teddy Palmer. Just really appreciate it and everything.
Look at the wiki. It's pretty as fuck.
It is. It's the best wiki there is for any Tumblr Survivor community. I'm just saying.
And the Azores wiki just got put up, so check that out.
Azores starts tomorrow.
It does.
This promo.
Hey, Jack.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if I have a lot more to say. Like, thank you, hosts, for doing this. Thank you all for bearing with us. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I played the largest game, but I played the game that I needed to make it to this point, and I think I played it kind of exactly how I needed to. And yeah, thanks. Good luck, Keegan and Ashley.
Okay, I'll also thank the hosts for putting this all together, and I'll say sorry to all the jury members for apparently making this an awful season. I didn't really think I was making it an awful season, but if that's the way you felt, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was just playing the game that I wanted to play, playing a game that was different than every other game I've played before. I'm not going to say I played the best overall game. I think we all played different, but me and Ashley definitely played similar games. But I do think we played different games, and if you don't vote for me, just vote for the person you think deserves it the most. I hope that's me. If it's not me, whatever. I played the game I'm happy with. So thank you, everyone, and I'm sorry I made things suck.
Thank you both. Ashley will obviously give her closing statement later. All right. Keegan, Jack, and soon to be Ashley, you've done everything that you can in the game. Now the power is going to shift to the jury once Ashley gets her stuff in. My brother just walked in, so hey everyone. They're all saying hi. Anyway, what was I saying? Jury, once Ashley sends in her vote, you'll be allowed to vote, or sends in her responses to you, you'll be allowed to vote. Please do not vote before I send that to you. Give her a chance to answer your questions. Regardless of what time she sends her responses, your votes will be due at 9:30 tomorrow night Eastern. So about 22-ish hours, give or take a little bit. And winner reveal will be at 10:15, immediately followed by the cast reveal of yours. That's all I got for you. For all of you showing up.
Thanks, all 7 viewers.
Yes, all 7 viewers. Thanks for watching. And that's all I got. We'll be back tomorrow for winner reveal.
Right, I shall stop talking.